If you've ever attended a yoga class and wondered to yourself, am I doing this pose right? Whether you're beginner, intermediate, or advanced, then this series is for you because this series is called Am I Even Doing That Right? Where we break down simple poses that you're going to encounter in everyday yoga classes in a way that helps you understand alignment, cues, regression, and progression. Okay? And we're going to start with easy seat or easy pose or easy simple pose or cross-legged pose. Or your instructors, if they're anything like me, say meet me at crisscross applesauce because I'm good for saying that. And you may think it's just as simple as sitting crisscross applesauce. And while that is the basis of it, that's not everything. Let's get into the breakdown. For one, you want to make sure that your sit bones are rooted. Now, if you got a little junk in the trunk, a little wagon you dragging, a little extra back there, you might have to move them sit bones, move that meat out the way to get them sit bones rooted on the ground. It's important. I have a tendency to lean forward, tilt my pelvis forward. It's important to make sure your chest is stacked over your hips, okay? And you're not leaning forward. So you want to sit back and have your chest stacked over your hips, okay? I like to start with my hands grounded on the earth to help me ground those sit bones, okay? Now, as far as crossing the legs, did you know there's a method to crossing the legs? Because I didn't either. I just go crisscross applesauce. And naturally, when I do that, my left foot comes in first and my right foot comes over it. Now, you always want to be balanced. If you're in the aerials, if you're in a pole or anything like that, whatever we do to one side, we do to the other. Balance is key, right? So, one of the things I learned in taking this 200-hour course is to not only see how I naturally do that, I have to remind myself to sit back. But anyway, one of the things I learned is that you want to rotate. So, if we start out in easy seat and I bring my right foot in first with my left foot in front of it, the next time I sit in easy pose, I'm going to do it the opposite way. Okay? The whole purpose in switching up is to give whatever leg comes in closer tends to get a little better stretch, at least in my experience. So this gives me the ability to create that better stretch on both sides. So by the time I leave the class, hopefully I've worked both of them evenly. Now let's talk props. If you're unable to root, because ideally you want the knees and the hips at the same angle. And if you're inflexible, in the sense of you haven't quite developed the skills, maybe your legs are up here, maybe they're right here. You can actually put yoga blocks underneath your legs to bring them, to allow them to rest until you develop the flexibility to open up and naturally have them rest. You can also use a blanket to lift the hips up to make them at least even with the knees. Hold on, I'm going to show you. Now, there are yoga blankets out there on the market, but do you have to have a yoga blanket? Absolutely not. You can just grab a regular blanket from home. Okay? And the goal is you want to put the sit bones on the regular blanket. So I'm going to root these sit bones into that regular blanket. And as you can see, actually, it's easier for me to not lean forward when I do that. So even someone like me who's been doing this for a certain amount of years can actually benefit from props. Remember, props are your friend. They're never because you're incapable. They're to they're there to provide your body with support in areas that you may need improvement in as far as flexibility and reach until you can develop that flexibility and reach to do the pose comfortably. Now, the beauty of Easy Seat is that it helps to prepare you. And I haven't stretched this morning, so we're about to see if I can do it. But it helps to prepare you for eventual lotus. But we'll get there. So, anyway, that being said, remember with Easy Seat, the big goal, ground those sit bones. You want the knees even with the hips. So if you have to use a blanket, you can. You want the knees to come down. If they're up because your hamstrings or your legs aren't as flexible, you can place yoga blocks underneath to allow you to actually become comfortable in the pose, because that comfort, that you allowing yourself to relax, is what allows the body to finally open up. It's not only nervous system regulation, it helps with the relaxation to bring the body down and actually have you relax into the pose. Okay? So I know I've talked a lot here, but again, as we close this out, sit bones grounded, those bones, not the meat, the bones. You want your knees open, you want your hips even with your knees. You want your chest stacked over your hips. And once you're in that position, you can do mudras with your hand if you so choose. You can rest with your palms down on your knees. You can rest with your palms up and just practice your breath work. So if that was helpful, you can follow me if you like, or just interact with my button so I show back up on your FYP. And I'll see you next time with the next pose. Love y'all. Bye.